The legacy of Cesar Chavez possibly forever tainted after bombshell sexual abuse allegations. Tonight on the Factor Uncensored, reaction from Houston's Hispanic community regarding the iconic labor leader. Plus, men under the microscope. Every day there's a new question about what should or shouldn't a man be doing and what makes him less than. We're tackling that conversation tonight.
The Isiah Factor Uncensored starts now. When you think of the greats in the civil rights movement, certain names come to mind. Dr. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and Cesar Chavez. But Chavez's legacy comes into question now. This is after he's being accused of inappropriate sexual relations with underage girls, one as young as 12. Chavez is a man who helped organize Hispanic and Filipino workers in the 1960s in America. They were being taken advantage of by farm owners and companies. He was a staunch supporter of civil rights for his community and organized boycotts and more for fair treatment. Now all of that may face irreparable harm because of his alleged behavior behind closed and even locked doors. He died in 1993 at 66 years old.
There's been a wave of reaction across the country and right here in Texas. Houston's annual march honoring Chavez has been canceled. It was set for Saturday, March 28th, just days before Cesar Chavez's day. This comes as Texas Governor Greg Abbott decided state agencies should stop observing Chavez Day as a federal commemorative holiday altogether. Joining us to talk about it, President of the Houston Millennials, Ivan Sanchez, Norman Gonzalez, Community Navigator of Worry Juntos, Carmen Maria Montiel, politician and domestic violence survivor, and the Executive Director of FIEL Houston, Cesar Espinosa. Glad to have you all on the Factor Uncensored. Cesar, first of all, I mean, this is tough news to take for anybody out there who may admire the man, a legend in civil rights. Your thoughts about what we're hearing now and the allegations?
I mean, it does come as a shock, and it is surprising to hear this, but I want to make things very clear. I haven't been a fan of Cesar Chavez for decades because he was actually very anti-immigrant. So if you read the actual story of Cesar Chavez, if you read the tactics that him and his family and some of the UFW workers did, then you would find out that even though he did lead the cause for Latinos and for Filipinos a lot, then but fortunately, in the immigration issue, he was actually very bad. He would probably be a MAGA supporter if he were alive today, and it's important for no. But I do want to put a caveat in here, and just like a lot of people, I've seen Governor Abbott judge him today. We've seen a lot of people come out against them. Maybe they should use the same measurement tool to measure the pedophile that's in the White House right now, who has the same allegations that they're now putting against Cesar Chavez, which is, there's no excuse for either Cesar Chavez, but there shouldn't be an excuse either for Donald Trump.
All right, Norma, let's hear from you and your thoughts about this situation.
Yeah, I definitely echo Cesar's feelings. I agree. I think corruption is rampant everywhere, and I believe that, you know, we should bring people to justice, and it shouldn't matter who it is. I don't agree with the Cesar Chavez events being canceled because I do believe this would have been an opportunity to uplift the voices of survivors. I would have said, let them come and let them hear us. And so I do think that we should use this moment to acknowledge and recognize the power imbalances that exist even now in our movements.
All right, Ivan, let's hear from you.
Well, shout out to Dolores Huerta, you know, 60 years later, still standing up, still using her voice. And the Latino community, I believe at large, is in pain. But pain does not give an excuse just to hide all of this, what's coming out. You know, from what Dolores Huerta, she's stepping out again at this age, and as Governor Greg Abbott is seizing everything Cesar Chavez, it wasn't just about the man, it was about the movement. So we should call on our government officials to actually proclaim this Dolores Huerta Day in the city of Houston.
All right. Carmen, your thoughts about this? How do you feel?
My question is the timing. Why somebody wait 66 years to talk about this? He's been dead for 33 years. There was a big women's movement in the 70s, in the 80s, and then all of these women allow for him to be buried as a hero. Why didn't they talk then? Why 33 years after his death? As a domestic violence survivor, these are the type of issues that actually put question marks on the real victims, because nothing can be really proved at this point. The person that is being accused cannot defend himself, and he's, you know, he's more than cold, if we can say about this. My questioning again is why? Why at this point? Why after, like Dolores Huerta, 66 years after the fact, 33 years after, there is a plan behind this, and I'm just defending the real victims, because this is the reasons why so many women are not trusted.
Ivan, I saw you react there. What are your thoughts about her saying, why now? Why well after his death?
Well, I know Carmen is a survivor of domestic violence or whatnot, and there's a lot of cases where women will bottle up these issues. They don't know where to go. I think Dolores was keeping all her feelings in for a while because it was just greater. It was for an entire movement. But judging a woman for coming out now, even 60 years later, 100 years later, it doesn't matter. Her story counts and it's valid. So we shouldn't just throw it away because it's some type of political scheme or something like that, which we should protect women at all costs.
As a hero. They should have talked at the time he died, because I remember when he died. It was like this big hero died. That was the time to come and, out and tell the truth. He was no hero, but they stayed quiet for another 33 years. That's my point.
And Cesar, for those who say, well, in some instances, these women like Dolores, who very close to him, saw the movement as a bigger purpose, a bigger cause, and didn't want to interfere with that. Would that be considered fair? And she can come out anytime she wants to.
I think if I may add something, it would be the fact that there should have been enough support for this woman to have come out as it was happening, or right after the fact. And unfortunately,
different time, different world.
Different time, different world, but there's still a lot of instances where men get away with things because there's still not, even though we're 60 years later, there's still not a lot of support for people, and a lot of the times people question other victims' motives. So I think it's important for this to be a teachable moment for people to say, we should believe people, and then we should continue to not only support, but create structures of support so that the individual can be taken as serious as movements or as anything else that's happening. And one of the biggest examples we can do is to believe the victims that are coming forward right now against many elected officials, against many people, and believe them and give them the power and the voice so that they can create the change before their aggressors are cold and rotted away on the ground.
All right. We'll be back with this conversation here on the Factor Uncensored. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. A late civil rights leader for the Hispanic community is being viewed differently by many. We're continuing our discussion on Cesar Chavez tonight. The New York Times posted an investigation, and it features testimony from two women who say Chavez abused them for years when they were still minors. Other women, including labor leader Dolores Huerta, also told the Times that Chavez sexually assaulted her and them. Let's get back to our guest here on the Factor Uncensored. Does this tarnish the work that has been done from your perspective?
I don't think it tarnishes the work that has been done. I think we need to keep in mind that Dolores Huerta is 95 years old, and many generations, have passed through that. And just like in my own family and many families, we kept silence about the abuse that we went through just in order to get forward, just like many others have. And not only do I think this strengthens the movement, it shows how powerful we are and how devoted we are willing to be for the better of our people.
All right, Cesar, your thoughts about damaging the legacy and what has been done. Obviously, the man, that's in question now, but the work.
It goes back to the same thing. I think we have to, even though sometimes history decides to focus on one individual, at the end of the day, it is a movement. During the civil rights movement, we tend to focus on Dr. Martin Luther King, who did an outstanding job, but there was Malcolm X, there was the people behind the Million Man March who made, even by providing water, by providing chairs, they made things happen. So in this case, it's the same thing. Dolores Huerta was a pivotal part of this. So were many other women and men who put their lives on the line to further the cause, and we have to give them credit and separate it from the tarnished legacy now of Cesar Chavez. Even a lot of people believe that Si Se Puede came from Cesar Chavez, and it was in fact Dolores Huerta who was questioned of no, you can't do this in Arizona, and she says, yes, we can, Si Se Puede. And a lot of people don't even know that part.
All right. Ivan, your thoughts about this, and should we be surprised, because we've seen over the years in history great men, and later when they're long gone, we hear a lot of baggage behind. Should we be surprised?
I made a little video on social media just getting people's opinions or whatnot, and it's so sad to see so many Latino women commenting that they're not surprised. It comes from the culture of machiste, that is just hyperinflation of the male's dominance, right? But this, if the allegations are true, it shouldn't tarnish the work. We can step away from the man and still celebrate the movement. But people that are politically charged, moving away and taking away the entire celebration of the movement, like Governor Greg Abbott, while still kissing the boots of the pedophile in chief, starting other wars just to cover up the Epstein files. So it's just very, very sad what's happening out in the entire community.
Carmen, you're shaking your head in disagreement.
Well, let me tell you, they keep accusing somebody of being a pedophile when there be no proof. But now they're saying that there is proof about Cesar Chavez after 66 years or 33 years. The question is, you accuse somebody that cannot defend themselves. And I agree, as a woman who is being abused, yes, we need to talk. We need to step out. We need to look for help. But you don't wait this long, and you don't allow for somebody to be buried as a hero when you could have spoken at the time. That's it, my point. So you cannot accuse somebody when there is no evidence, but now say, oh, well, now, yeah, Cesar Chavez. The movement is important. He was protecting legal immigrants into this country, protecting their jobs. And that should stay in the legacy of this country.
Well, we should hold Donald Trump accountable while he's alive. He can face these, and he can actually face these victims.
And nothing happened.
And we should believe the victims
and
release all the files and make sure that he is held accountable before he goes.
It is relief, and he's being accounted as innocent.
Before his hand gets more golden brown.
See, they have a double standard. Double standard.
No, the double standard comes from the
I think everybody should be held accountable.
I agree with you. Everybody.
We can end on that note. Thank you guys for joining us here on the Factor Uncensored. Obviously, this will be a conversation that will be going on for quite some time. Still ahead tonight, a tragic and terrible ending for a married couple who had been separated. The case unfolding near the Houston area, the latest after the break, and it involves murder. Deborah, murder.
This program is being brought to you by Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer.
And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. Developing tonight, a man now charged with capital murder after being accused of killing both his wife and his mother-in-law. According to investigators, Stanley Harton shot and killed his wife, Tara Harton, and her mother, Flores Wolford, on Monday. Tara had separated from Stanley and moved in with her mother days prior. Joining us to talk about this tragedy, and I think there was a car that was rammed into the house, and that was just quite a visual. Defense attorney and former prosecutor Isiah and Matilda Zaragoza, an advocate for domestic violence survivors. Seeing this, she's left. She's done what you tell domestic abuse victims to do: leave. But then he went behind her.
And she attempted to call 911, but unfortunately he was able to make his way through the house by using that vehicle to enter the home. And it's a sad situation, but he finally snapped. And a lot of these abusers, and as myself being an abused person, I was told, if I can't have you, nobody else is going to have you.
How do you even deal with that, though?
Well, I mean, it's a chance that you have to take, and she was exactly trying to leave the situation, but unfortunately things happened, and this is the outcome. We have, we found her unalived, and of course he made it into the home, and the police weren't able to respond in a timely manner. But nowadays we're starting to see, and I hear a lot of cases, and we try to create this pattern so we can get these protective orders in place. I don't know if the lady had one, but because of the crime rate being so high, it's unfortunate that we have a lot of times that they just don't consider them as an emergency as they should be considered.
All right, and Isiah, before we get to the defense side, let's talk as a former prosecutor. How helpful are those restraining orders in a domestic violence case?
You know, it's a sheet of paper that says you cannot come near me. The concern or the problem is that the person who the protective order is against has to follow it. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, then that sheet of paper doesn't do much. Mm-hmm. What it does do, however, before it can get to something as serious as this, as someone is being murdered, if that individual who is being protected has the time to call 911, they can use that protective order to actually create a paper trail and to create more criminal charges. That criminal charge is called violation of a protective order, mm-hmm. which is a misdemeanor. Mm-hmm. But if the person continues and repeatedly violates that protective order, it can then be elevated up to a felony degree offense and to have more serious consequences.
Now, like Matilda said, how likely law enforcement to respond to this if you need their help in a situation like this?
I think Harris County in particular has done a great job of establishing infrastructure and awareness amongst law enforcement with respect to domestic violence cases. I think in a case like this, what the prosecution is going to have to do in order to make sure that they can secure a verdict of guilt is probably to paint a picture, if the evidence suggested, of what's called a cycle of violence. Oftentimes, previous instances of family violence is usually an indicator that someone is in a dangerous situation where they could potentially be murdered. And unfortunately, that's what we have here. So it remains to be seen whether or not there was said cycle of violence in this particular case.
And really quick, look at this now as a defense attorney. What is he facing? What is he likely going through now?
Well, right now, because he's charged with capital murder, he's looking at the death penalty. He's charged with capital murder because he was accused of killing more than one person, mm-hmm. multiple persons. Usually in a case like this, she said something interesting. She said he snapped. I think the average defense attorney who's going to take a case like this is going to really look into the mental health mm-hmm. history of this individual, Stanley Harton, mm-hmm.
for
a couple of reasons. One defense that can be raised is that of insanity, to say that his mental health impacted him in such a way that he lacked the awareness and of the criminality of his conduct. If that doesn't work, however, that could still be used as mitigating evidence to avoid the death penalty and get him something like life without parole, which is a lot better than, obviously, death.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Still ahead here on The Factor, Dr. Angela Jones joins us for an Angela After Dark. All new. Could stepping outside of a marriage for sex actually make a couple's bond stronger? Not the guys, the women. We'll talk about that next. Welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. When it comes to marriage and most romantic relationships, couples have a hard boundary about remaining faithful, as they should. But a growing trend challenges that and encourages couples to let married women lay down with another person. It's called hot wifing. Women in those marriages have full-on intimate relationships with other people while the husband is cool with that. Now, according to studies, it even helps those relationships. Let's bring in Dr. Angela Jones to talk about. What are you smiling like that for?
Because they just slapped a new name.
Hot wifing.
On an old thing, you know, like they're like, you know, I think my wife is hot. I'm gonna call it hot wifing. But I mean, what they're saying, I feel like they are lacing it and making it seem like, oh, it's for the women and they're the ones who go. Well, who are the women sleeping with? The husbands, the other husbands. So it is an even exchange program.
Make that clear for us.
Right.
So you have a husband and wife.
Correct.
And the wife is sleeping with
somebody else's husband.
And
most
is that
likely
intentional?
That can be intentional. I mean, they also can say, hey, you can sleep with this non-husband person.
That's swingers, right?
Exactly.
That's
you know, it's a polyamorous, but they put a nice new bow on top of it. And they said, you know, my wife is hot. I'm going to have a new thing. But even with this, the study is like they did it with 1,000 people, and then they researched and they asked them, did this make your relationship stronger? Well, of course it did.
Yeah.
Because you had 1,000 people who wanted to do it.
And you did that study probably in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Go down the road.
Exactly.
There's some people whose lives end miserably when they, you know, have others into the relationship.
So the thing is, polyamorous relationships work for some people, but it's not a tool to like make your relationship stronger. So I don't want everyone who's having issues in the bedroom or in their marriage to feel like, okay, let's start hot wifing it and it's going to make our relationship better. This trend, and not only this trend, but anything that has to do with swinging, any kind of polyamorous relationship requires communication and mutual respect, but communication before it actually happens.
Right.
So we have to come to an agreement. What are the rules? What are the boundaries? What are we going to do? How is this going to look? Then we are able to implement it. The problem is that people want to go ahead and be polyamorous and be like, oh, by the way, I slept with your best friend. Now we're polyamorous.
It don't work that way.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. So the thing is what's making the relationships actually stronger is not the act of sleeping with someone else. It's the communication. It's the fact that they are coming together on a very sensitive topic and they're able to figure out, okay, what are our boundaries? And it's something that they probably haven't done before, and they're finding a space to do it in a healthy way.
Well, if that's a component that's bringing them closer, can't they do that and go golfing?
I mean, they can. They can, but you know, if they enjoy being able to sleep with other people, I guess they found a mutual thing that's working for them, and that's what they're doing. But I just don't want other people to go out there and say, this is what we need to do so we can become closer, especially if your relationship is dealing with trust issues or any kind of betrayal. This is not the fix. The fix is a lot of other things, but wife swapping just because she's hot or whatever, that's not it.
Now, this study indicated that it worked out well for the couples involved in the last 30 seconds we have with you. What's your track record in seeing people who may do this? Does it end badly, or is there problems?
I would say it's 50-50. You know, you have to find someone who is mutually wanting to do the same thing you want to do. But I find a lot of couples come into my office and they try to implement this after some kind of betrayal or something big that has happened in a relationship, hoping that this is going to fix something that's broken. And this is not a fix. This is something that creates a bond, communication between a very strong couple. The couple already has to be pretty strong for them to implement something like this in the first place.
All right, Dr. Angela Jones, always good to see you here on The Factor. Still ahead tonight, are men under attack? According to social media, many common things can take away from a man's masculinity. We talk about it on the other side of the break next.
You're watching the Isiah Factor Uncensored.
All righty, welcome back to the second half hour, The Factor Uncensored. We thought AI would be the death of us all, but it turns out it's been social media all along. And now some say men are under attack on their social media. The question is why? The moment you post too much on the gram or eat a glizzy or a hot dog in public, you hear this. Gay! It doesn't end there. There's a mile-long list on social media about what men can and can't do. It includes having less than 7 jobs, having allergies, clapping when the plane lands, blowing on hot food and liquids, crying, also not crying. We found the guys to weigh in on this joining us. First Class, Quincy Guidry, Adam Nelson, and Lance Bledsoe. So let's start with you. When you see that list of the things we cannot do, what are your thoughts about that? And it's coming from social media.
Man, when I look at that, bro, it's like at this point, man, we can't do nothing at all. It's like we can't even live no more. It's like everything that we literally do, it's like they call this zesty or sassy. Like, I don't get it. It's like, I feel like, especially the women, you know what I'm saying? Not all women, though, you know what I'm saying? It's like everything that we do on the internet or just do in general is sassy. Like, we can't, like it just showed right there, can't have less than 7 jobs, can't have allergies, can't cry, can't post our food. My food is good, it looks good. I want to post the food to show that, what I mean, it looks good. Why can't I post it? You know what I'm saying? It's like we can't do nothing at all. Like, why? It's like, at this point, we can't even live no more. Because everything we do is zesty.
First Class can't even show his eyes on the show. Your thoughts, First Class, what about it?
I mean, honestly, it's like, man, what do you want? You're giving us mixed signals. You don't want, essentially you're saying you don't want nobody to love you. You don't want nobody to have emotion. You know what I mean? I think that women give guys mixed signals, and it's like, man, what side do you want? You know what I mean? Because some of you want some super gangster, or you don't want us to be emotional, like, I don't know what to do, because I'm going to give my lady some love and respect. And I think that's just the way I was born. But if I got to have 7 jobs and I can't sneeze, you know what I mean? That's kind of tough. Like, it's kind of hard on
Hold it in.
Man. I mean, males in general, it's just tough. You have to be a person, of course. You got to be firm, be able to protect your woman and things of that nature. But I don't think that we have to just necessarily walk around mean mugging everybody all day looking for problems.
We still human at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to have some type of. You got to play both sides, to be honest with you.
All right, Quincy, let's hear from you. Your thoughts?
Nah, I mean, I with the crying thing, that's one thing I don't do in public and everything. That's one thing I do in my own person. I do it in the shower. I do it in the dark. I don't even want to see myself do it. Now, if you just out in the public just crying, you know what I'm saying, that may be looked at a little bit sensitive.
Recording yourself crying.
Exactly. But you want to be able to, like you said, share your emotion with your woman. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be looked at as nonchalant or you don't care. You know what I'm saying? When you really do care about the person. Now, there's other things on there. You can't have allergies. Come on now. That's a bit much.
You can't be born different.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, it's really astronomically absurd, just to say the least.
Adam, your thoughts about this?
Well, I believe it depends who's defining it, what that is. Like the 7 jobs, a woman might like a man who hustles with 7 jobs. The food part, I don't take pictures of my food. I think that's weird myself, unless I cooked it myself.
I'm taking pictures.
I'm with you on that.
I'm taking pictures.
If I went to a restaurant in Houston, I'm not taking pictures of food because that's just not me. It's just me. I guess my generation. But it depends, and it depends on the man and where you are. Eating popcorn. I might eat popcorn in the presence of my lady, but in public, I'm not eating no hot dogs or no popcorn.
What's wrong with eating popcorn?
What's wrong with eating popcorn? You're sticking your tongue out. Then you. No. You doing too. That's too much, bro. That's too much. That's too much. I can't eat popcorn.
I think we found the source of the problem.
I can't eat popcorn, bro. I can't eat popcorn. What's wrong with eating popcorn?
But I think it's like this, though. Even when guys say...
When you eat the popcorn, it's like...
How am I going to eat the popcorn? You want me to just put my whole mouth in the thing and
eat sunflower seeds?
Like, what you talking about?
Because people don't eat popcorn like sunflower seeds.
So how am I supposed to eat popcorn, sir?
Hold on, look at the gesture.
No.
Hold on. Lance, look at the gesture he just made when he eat the sunflower seeds.
That's kind of
you know what I'm saying?
Come on. How am I supposed to am I supposed to eat the popcorn then? How am I supposed to eat the popcorn?
Hey, but peep this, though.
How am I supposed to eat the popcorn?
It's like when y'all say no homo, pause, and all that stuff. Just because another man is saying something that he's voicing, don't mean he's thinking the same thing as you.
Correct.
So that's why I don't say.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not thinking
that's what I'm saying. Facts,
I'm enjoying my popcorn. I'm not like I'm sticking my tongue down.
Yeah, like why you even thinking like that, bro?
First class, would you eat a hot dog in public?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a real one, bro. I'm a real one.
Hold on, so hold up. You've been like this your whole life, didn't
No, and you old. I was expect this from a younger dude, bro.
It's weird because, you know, like on social media, for instance, you really don't see yourself. You really, I can't eat a banana in public. You can't do that. Because it's weird gestures, man. You just can't do that,
man. You got something within yourself, bro. You got something within yourself, bro. I don't care. I'm gonna eat whatever I want in public. I'm true to myself. If I want to eat some popcorn,
all right, lads. Just take it down. Just
if I want to eat some popcorn with my head, I'm gonna eat some popcorn with my head. I ain't worried about what nobody got to say.
Some insecurity type thing.
Come on, bro. Like, what we talking about, bro?
I'm not saying that eat this is nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that
I ain't gonna do it. If there's 5 brothers in the room, I ain't doing it.
Man,
where do you guys think this comes from?
I'm secure
besides Adam, where does it come from?
I'm gonna eat.
Besides individuals like Adams, you have some delusional individuals that haven't been around men, that didn't grow up around men. Because I mean, we eat sausages, we eat hot dogs and everything. And hold up. Look, see,
why you thinking like?
See what I'm saying? When you go to a barbecue, what you eat?
Chicken.
So you're not eating chicken.
Come on, man.
Hey, but again, man.
So you don't eat glasses, none of that we
got their insecurities, bro.
Come on,
yeah. That's some personal insecurities that
you got, bro.
4 and 5 baby mamas as well, baby dads, because they don't know. The dude don't know what to do. You know what I mean? You don't know if you want to be super gangster one day, or you want to have a hustle, have 7 jobs. You can't be a guy that's disrespectful, walking around and extra hustle and do things of that nature. Have all the women, but again, eating anything should not be a problem.
Out of time, guys.
For a meal.
Anybody. We're going to take a glizzy break right here. Thank you guys for joining us. Still ahead tonight, a brand new Money is a Motive. We're talking about filing those taxes amid the partial government shutdown. What you need to know. Next. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. The partial government shutdown is still underway, but it's still tax season. How does this affect the preparers that are out there? Joining us to talk about it, CPA Adrena G. Cooper. Glad to have you here on the Factor Uncensored. When we talk about the shutdown, what kind of problems, if any, is this causing for tax workers and the tax season?
Well, that's the thing. It really just depends. So when it comes to the filing side, it's business as usual. So the deadline is still the same as April 15th for individuals. So you still have to get your taxes in there. The IRS does not release statements about changing the deadline. Where you see the most problems is after you file your tax return. Then it's a waiting game. Is, hey, is it going to be 21 days? Am I still waiting for 21 days? Or is there going to be backlog? Currently, there's like a 27% reduction in the IRS workforce. So you're going to see a huge delay in tax returns, especially for those returns that are paper filed or those that have errors or require some manual operation by the IRS. So I would say the best case scenario is get your return in now, get it electronically filed, make sure you have a direct deposit set up so that way you're not facing any problems with backlogs and issuing checks and stuff like that.
Now, if you have filed and you've done everything by the book and it's past 21 days, what next step should you take as an individual?
Well, currently, like I said, because of the reduction in the workforce, calling the IRS is not going to be the best step. It's really just a waiting game, unfortunately, because no one really knows if it's going to be longer than 21 days. Currently, taxpayers are seeing it's longer than 21 days. The hope is to get your refund as soon as possible. But again, for those who haven't filed yet, you want to make sure you limit the amount of errors in your return. This is not the year to say I'm going to fix it later on. Make sure everything is correct before you file, so that can kind of alleviate some of that backlog that the IRS is seeing.
And if you have access, and I don't know if everyone has a IRS account now, where you can check. I was looking at a Reddit article where individuals are checking their transcript to figure out exactly if it's been approved and the exact date that it will arrive.
And the exact amount.
Okay.
So that's another thing. So the IRS came out a couple of years ago with ID Me, and this allows taxpayers to go in there and use their name, social security information to check exactly what was filed, know what date it got accepted, how much refund they could potentially receive, and when it will get paid out. So that's something you can be able to follow through with.
And this is different from Where's My Refund, which is base information, where ID Me,
correct.
It has your transcript, the past few years, and you're looking for the current year to figure out what you're getting.
Correct.
So for those who are just frustrated waiting, and I'm sure you're hearing from people as well, where's my damn refund? What should you do? What can you tell them? Just be patient?
I mean, honestly, at this point, it's just be patient. I know a lot of, especially government workers, are feeling the impact of the shutdown currently, and I know the last shutdown took about close to more than 100 days. So currently it's a wait game, unfortunately, but again, for those who haven't filed, make sure you alleviate some of these issues on the back end. And then if you have filed, then maybe file early, so that way when the IRS does start issuing refund, you'll be first in line to get your money.
And for those who may have a main job but also have side gigs, is it important to make sure you file for those side gigs?
Absolutely.
Could that cause a delay if the IRS is showing records that you have received this income but it's not on your tax return that you file?
Yep. So you want to make sure, again, just because you haven't received the 1099 from your side hustles doesn't alleviate you having to file the income actually earned from those side hustles. So everything needs to be recorded and submitted to the IRS.
And for those who want more information and how to find you, where can they go?
So my name is Adrena. I'm on Instagram as Taxes with a CPA, and I just educate tax payers and individuals about the tax code and helping you to level up and maximize your deductions.
You turned to like a little promo there. You got great job. Always good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Still ahead tonight, a special celebration of Women's History Month with world-class musicians coming to the city of Houston for the occasion. We'll have those details next. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. It's Women's History Month, and the Community Music Center of Houston is celebrating with an upcoming concert that's free and open to the public. That means you. It's set for this Sunday, March 22nd at St. James Episcopal Church. It starts at 5 p.m., so make sure you get there. Joining us with more information about it, Dr. Ann Lundy from the Community Music Center of Houston and performer Dr. Jacqueline Pickett. Glad to have you both here on the Factor Uncensored. So when we talk about Women's History Month, how important is it that we pay tribute, we remember, we celebrate?
Oh, absolutely, because so many times, like, I've grown up in the world of music, in the world of classical music, and we learn about the masters, the Beethoven and the Bach and the Mozart, which is great, there's great music, but we need to also include women composers. We need to include women performers. We need to include women in the, you know, in a major sense as compared to just sort of on the side. So we're very excited to be celebrating Women's History Month with this specific concert. As you said, it's free, so we know the price is right.
There you go. And Dr. Pickett, you came in from Atlanta. How important is it that you guys are recognized for the art form that you have and what you give back to the community in the form of beauty when it comes to music?
I think it's important that we are able to express the ability of art to nurture and bring communities together. There are different motivations for people. Personally, mine is not for recognition or fame. It's to see justice happen on a community scale where we all can discover each other's gifts and help each other to grow and become better.
But with that recognition, you have a voice and you have more people paying attention to what you do and then what you say.
Yes, recognition from the community is very important to me.
And for music, how long have you been playing?
This is the beginning of my 50th year of being a professional musician.
And of course, having her here from Atlanta, how big is that for us in Houston?
Oh, it's huge. We are so excited about Jackie, and we've also got other women coming in. We're doing, Jackie's got a world premiere piece of a piece written specifically for Jackie, and I want to make sure I get the name right. It is Bass Concerto by the Ahmed Al-Abaka. Is that right? I think.
Ahmad Al-Abaka.
Thank you, I'm sorry. But the piece is written specifically for Jackie, and one of the good things about having her here with us is that it's a piece that involves a number of different kinds of music, but it also brings up an old spiritual. I was one of those people that grew up in the church. Yes, God is real. And it's going to be part of the piece. And I've asked Jackie if she would, in a minute, play part of that song. Yes, God is real, for I can feel him in my soul. It's
and we will allow her to do it. Let's show the screen of what where viewers can go for more information and the event, and we'll let Dr. Pickett have it.
All right.
All right, take it over, Dr. Pickett. We're stepping away. And welcome back. And before we wrap up tonight, this is a must report from Isiah Factor producer Sonora Harris. She writes, to all you hating ass snitches out there, we back in business, baby. Yep, she wrote it like that for me to say it like that. This is after Mama Tina's gumbo stand at the Houston Rodeo was shut down Monday by the health department. Now, the Houston Health Department says their action came after a complaint, but after passing inspection, Mama Tina was open again today, slanging that 16-hour, $25 a bowl gumbo. In case you don't know, Sonora is the president of the Beehive. So we want to say welcome back, Mama Tina, and save some room for me at the rodeo. That'll do it for us here on the Factor Uncensored tonight. Make sure you follow us on our new YouTube page at Isiah Factor Uncensored, where you can catch the Factor Uncensored, along with a lot of the other episodes that you may have missed. Some of the shows are great and hilarious, so you want to just go take that down right now at Isiah Factor Uncensored YouTube, the YouTube page. Go check it out. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. And of course, download the Fox Soul app, where you can catch the Factor Uncensored, along with many of the other great programs here at Sonora. What are the other programs? Chatting with Chelsea. What else? The Nightcap, Fox Face Off, and Scrolling with Jen and V. You can catch all those programs on Fox Soul along with the Factor Uncensored, and you can watch us anywhere in the country, not just here in Houston. We'll see you the next time. Have a great one.